Big Klaus, Little Klaus. In a town there lived two Klauses, German name, a Big Klaus and a Little Klaus. He was called Big Klaus because he was a big man, but he also owned a large plot of land, and he owned 4 horses. Little Klaus was physically little, and also he only owned 1 horse and just a small plot of land. Little Klaus worked for Big Klaus, but on the 7th day, Sunday, Big Klaus lent to Little Klaus his 4 horses. So on that day, Little Klaus had 5 horses, and he would plow his fields. That was his happiest day. And he would say to his horses, "Get up, my good horses." But Big Klaus heard this and became angry. "They're not your horses, they're my horses, except for the one. Don't say that again." Okay, I promise. But the next Sunday he couldn't resist. "Get up, my good horses. I told you don't do that again. If you ever do that again, I'll kill your horse." Okay. But the following week, Little Klaus could not resist, and so he said, "Get up, my good horses." Big Klaus grabbed an axe from his home, ran outside, and hit Little Klaus's horse and killed him right on the spot. "Oh, what can I do now? I'm going to be poor, even poorer than before. Well, I have to do something. I will skin my horse, take the horse skin to the market, and try to sell him and get something for him." So he did just that. He skinned the horse and took the horse skin to the market. But on his way he got lost, and then the night fell, and he came to a large home on a large piece of land, and he could look into the window at night time, and there at a dinner table were a woman and a gentleman. They were eating roast beef and drinking red wine and looked very happy. Poor Little Klaus was very hungry, so he knocked on the door, hoping that they might let him stay for the night, hoping that they might even give him some food. Dut, 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 knock, knock, knock. The woman answered the door and said, "My husband isn't home. Go away," and slammed the door. Well, that means that either she's lying or that man at the table is not her husband. Okay. Klaus then saw a barn nearby. He went into the barn, climbed up into the loft, and from there he could see very clearly into the window, see the gentleman and the lady dining again. But when he saw that roast beef and when he saw that red wine, his stomach started to grumble, or growl, as we say. It made a loud sound, and suddenly a voice from downstairs in the barn said, "Who's that? Who's there? I hear a loud sound." "Sorry, I was just passing by. I wanted to get some sleep. I was lost and hungry and tired. I hope you don't mind. I'm sleeping in your loft. Come down, come inside, I'll give you something to eat." But Little Klaus lingered for a minute, and the woman, he could see, could clearly hear her husband's voice, and quickly hid the gentleman in a chest that was there, hid the roast beef in the oven, and hid the red wine in the cupboard. When the man entered his own home, he said to the woman, "Give us something to eat, please. We're hungry, and this man will spend the night. We'll let him spend the night." So she brought out some dumplings and oatmeal, that is poor man's fare or food, and served them. But Little Klaus, as he sat there eating, had his horse skin still with him, and it was at his feet, under the table. And his mind was still on the roast beef and the red wine. So his stomach, the skin, the horse skin, made a sound under his feet. "What's that?" "Oh, that's my wizard." "Really? Wizard? I'll give you a coin for that wizard." "No, he's my faithful servant. But my wizard tells me that if you look inside the oven, you'll find some roast beef. So the man looked inside the oven, and there it was, the roast beef. Wow, what a wizard. Very good. I'll give you 5 gold coins for that wizard of yours. No, he's my good friend. But if you look in the cupboard, you'll find some red wine. He looked, and there was red wine. Wow, I'll give you 10 gold coins for that wizard. No, he's my good friend. But if you look in that chest, you'll find the devil. The man opened the chest and looked. The gentleman in the chest was terrified, and he looked like the devil in his fear. And so the man closed the chest very quickly, wrapped rope around it many times, and then said, I'll give you half a sack of gold for that wizard. No, he's my friend. Then they slept that night. In the morning, little Klaus had bacon and eggs with the man and woman. Listen, I'll give you a sack of gold for that wizard. Well, okay, you have been so kind to me, I'll accept a sack of gold. But I'll tell you what, take the sack of gold, but also take this trunk and dump it into the river with the devil inside it. Okay, I'll do that for you. So little Klaus left with the sack of gold and with the trunk, which he put on a wheelbarrow. Walking along, pushing the wheelbarrow, he came to a river. Knocked on the trunk and said, sorry, old man, but I'm going to have to dump you into this river. Don't do it, don't do it. I'll give you a sack of gold if you don't kill me. Okay, so little Klaus loosened the rope, opened the trunk, and let the man out. The man went inside, got a sack of gold, and gave it to Klaus. Klaus now had 2 sacks of gold for his horse skin. He went home. With half a sack, he bought 4 horses. Now he had 5, just like Big Klaus had. And with the other half, he bought a large plot of land. And he kept one of the sacks of gold for the future, hidden, in case. Now Big Klaus came along and saw little Klaus with his 5 horses. And he said, what happened here? I went to the market and sold my horse skin for 2 sacks of gold. Wow! So now Big Klaus took his axe and killed his own 4 horses, skinned them, and took the horse skins to the market, thinking that he would get 2 sacks of gold for each horse skin. That would be 8 sacks of gold. Instead, people said, you must be crazy, or you think we are. Get out of here with your horse skin. But get out of here. And they threw rocks at him. You must be crazy. Now Big Klaus was furious, and he went back and he took a sack, and he went to little Klaus's house and put little Klaus in the sack. I'm going to kill you. I'm going to drown you. Ridiculous story? Okay. Now he was carrying little Klaus along in his sack, but the distance to the river was very far, and it was a hot day. So Big Klaus put the sack down by the doorway of an inn, and he went inside to have a beer. Now, little Klaus said inside the sack, oh, I wish I could get out of here. A shepherd came along and heard him say that, and said, okay, I'll let you out if you guard. And little Klaus said, please let me out, and I will guard your sheep, and you can go inside and have a cool beer. Okay, I'll do it. So the shepherd let little Klaus out of the bag, and Klaus guarded the sheep, and it was a large herd of white sheep. Big Klaus came out and found little Klaus not in the sack as he was before, but with this large herd of sheep. What's this? Well, I found a magical woman who came from the bottom of the river, And she let me out of the sack, and she then gave me all these sheep because she had so many sheep. Well, Big Klaus, not too smart, then said, boy, I'm going to find that magical woman at the bottom of the river and get a flock of sheep myself. So he tied a rope around his own waist, attached to a heavy rock, and jumped into the water, hoping to find the magical fairy at the bottom of the river. Instead, of course, he drowned, and so little Klaus enjoyed the rest of his life, now a fairly wealthy man, and he was no longer called Little Klaus because there was no longer any Big Klaus.